Attention, stations on the network. Our broadcast will begin in 5 minutes from my mark. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. That was your 5-minute time check, stations. Attention, stations on the network. Our broadcast will begin in 2 minutes from my mark. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. That was your 2-minute time check, stations. Attention, stations on the network. Our broadcast will begin in 1 minute from my mark. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. That was your 1-minute time check, stations.
Hawkeyes Sports Network from Learfield, live from View Rooftop at the Hilton Garden Inn in downtown Iowa City. This is Hawk Talk, brought to you by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Your local Ford dealers, Iowa's corn farmers of the Iowa Corn Growers Association and Iowa Corn Promotion Board. You may think Iowa grows corn, but the truth is, corn grows Iowa. U.S. Bank, proud to support Iowa football. U.S. Bank, equal housing lender, member FDIC. Also brought to you by Mid-American Energy. Look up, look out for overhead power lines. Visit midamericanenergy.com for electrical safety tips. By University of Iowa Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. U.S. Cellular, built for the Hawkeyes, built for silencing notifications and turning up the noise. U.S. Cellular, built for us. Iowa Farm Bureau, who would like to remind you to support America's farmers. Check out americaneedsfarmers.org. And by Authentic Brand, the label you wear makes a difference. Step up your game day looks and everyday style with Authentic Brand. Here is your host, the voice of the Hawkeyes, Gary Dolphin.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to View Rooftop in downtown Iowa City, on top of the beautiful Hilton Garden Inn for our weekly get-together with Iowa football coach Kirk Ferentz, who will join us a little bit later on. We've gotten through the bye week. Seems like a month since we've been here, but thankfully it's great to see everybody back in football mentality mode. The Hawkeyes come off that bye week stuck in a bottleneck with Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Nebraska at the top of the Big Ten West Division standings. That's the good news. Everybody's got a 3-2 record on top of the mountain. One game behind that gridlock is this week's rival, the Northwestern Wildcats. The Hawkeyes have had an extra week, of course, to stew on that bitter loss to Minnesota at Kinnick Stadium, and then watched Floyd's pigtail head north on I-380 for at least the next year. But as the old saying goes, don't let one tough loss turn into two. Northwestern is 2-3 in the Big Ten under the direction of interim head coach Dave Braun. And that includes an impressive 33-27 decision of the Maryland Terrapins last Saturday. Both the Hawkeyes and the Wildcats have struggled to find offensive consistency. Both have suffered injuries on the offensive side of the football at key positions, most notably quarterback. And both backup quarterbacks will start again this week. Defensively, Iowa continues to sparkle. One of two teams, the other being UCLA, to allow just one rushing touchdown all year long. One rushing touchdown all season. The Hawkeye D is sixth nationally, allowing 14.5 points a game. Special teams led by punter Torrey Taylor, kicker Drew Stevens, and Cooper DeJean have performed admirably, as you know. Four Hawkeyes, including DeJean, Taylor, linebacker Jay Higgins, and cashback Sebastian Castro, have landed on mid-season All-America teams. So all of this news has happened since the Hawks played last. Iowa, as you know, is bowl eligible at 6-2. Northwestern is 4-4. And the Wildcats are building some nice momentum. But all that matters this week, of course, is the next game in what has been a close, hard-fought rivalry. The Hawks have won 3 of the last 4 with the Wildcats and 6 of the last 10. But if you retreat back to 2005, and that was when former Northwestern coach Pat Fitzgerald took over at Northwestern, the Wildcats have won 10. Iowa has won 8. And 10 of the 18 games have been one-score games. So this has really been a tremendous, exciting series. Of course, Pat Fitzgerald is no longer at Northwestern, dismissed at the start of training camp due to player hazing allegations, among other accusations. That continues to work its way through the lawsuits and the court proceedings. And Hawkeye offensive coordinator Brian Ferentz learned this past weekend that he will not be retained following the current season, ending a better than 15-year career with Iowa football as a player and as a coach. Interim athletic director Beth Getz issued a statement detailing that. earlier in the week, actually over the weekend. For those of you that perhaps have not heard it, let me read part of it. Anyone who loves Iowa football recognizes both the success and challenges that have brought attention to our program this season. Our struggles on offense, coupled with the offensive coordinator's contract, make this a unique situation. After conversations with head coach Kirk Ferentz, Coach Brian Ferentz, and President Wilson, I being Beth Getz, informed Brian that our intention is for him to be with us through the bowl game, but this is his last season with the program. Making this known today is in the best interest of the program and its loyal fans, providing clarity during this pivotal time in the schedule. Beth goes on to say, it's not my practice to be involved in assistant coaching decisions and certainly not to make public such a change during a season. Our priority is to put all our student athletes in the best position to have both short-term and long-term success on and off the field. As Hawkeyes, let's continue to support our coaches, our staff, and student athletes in their pursuit of a Big Ten championship and bowl game victory. So I think the big question mark, since that was announced earlier in the week, was why now? Why with 4 games remaining in the season? If Brian didn't hit the numbers, he was effectively gone anyway. So that's the question mark. And Beth has addressed that, by the way, and she has essentially said that, I'm not going to get into the private conversation that we had as to the timing of this announcement, but that's the story, at least as we know it, right up to a date. Kirk will be here as usual a little bit after 7 o'clock tonight. He has let it be known, he has told me that he does not want to continue to talk about Brian Ferentz situation, that he is focused on only on the game Saturday and the 4 games that remain on the schedule. And that has seemingly left a crack in the door with some Hawk fans and supporters of the program. We're a speculative world. So today I heard from a lot of people, last 48 hours really, from a lot of people that, well, what's he mean by that? Is he leaving? Is he retiring? Is he heading out the door at the end of this season? And no, in my view, that's not what it means. But I'll ask him. I'll ask him when he gets here. So let's not speculate anymore, okay? And if he chooses to answer it, great. If he doesn't, then we'll move on because he certainly has that right. Lots of other news happening today. Legendary Indiana basketball coach Bob Knight passed away a few hours ago at his home at the age of 83. And we'll talk about Coach Knight, who was a great football fan. And he was, of course, the face of Big Ten basketball for a lot of years. That's just one of the items that we'll talk prior to Coach Ferentz' arrival. We're going to talk a little Iowa women's wrestling. That's right. The debut year is here. Coach Clarissa Chun is in the house. She'll join us here in a few minutes for a 5-minute chat about what's ahead for Iowa women's wrestling. They have a tremendous a meet that is within all of our reach to attend here in a couple weeks, actually coming up on November 12th. It's called the Trailblazer Meet involving the Iowa Hawkeyes. They actually open their season on the road this weekend, so we'll give you all that information. And we so appreciate your tuning in tonight to our Hawkeye Radio Network and Hawk Talk with Kirk Ferentz. We were not here last week because of the bye week. Great to be back at View Rooftop, where we are every Wednesday night now from here on out. And there's plenty of excitement. Iowa 6-2, still at the top of the division standings in the Big Ten West, and we're pushing on towards hopefully postseason and a trip to Indianapolis. Every Wednesday night we're here for Hawk Talk. Immerse yourself in an invigorating environment at View Rooftop with contemporary, comfortable indoor and outdoor seating, high-definition televisions for watching the game, tailgate specials on football Saturdays, and live music. A little additive there for you. Enjoy the camaraderie and celebrate with us at View Rooftop inside the Hilton Garden Inn in Iowa City. We're at the top of the Hilton Garden on the 12th floor. Iowa's next home game is a week from Saturday against Rutgers. If you're not going to the game or don't have a ticket, please call here for reservations. They'd love to host your tailgate and game day party. 319-519-4650. 319-519-4650. Of course, when Coach Ferentz arrives, we'll get his insight to the Northwestern Wildcats, courtesy of Club Car Wash. We're sponsored tonight by Bud Light, proud sponsor of Hawkeye Athletics. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. The Hawkeyes and Northwestern, that's a 2:30 tip-off, I should tell you. 2:30 tip on Saturday afternoon from Wrigley Field. That's right, the home of the Chicago Cubs. The last time the Hawkeyes played a Big Ten foe in a baseball stadium was not the Pinstripe Bowl a few years ago. Of course, we played Boston College and won that game, a real close game, 27-20 over BC on a blustery cold day at Yankee Stadium. But the last time the Hawks played a Big Ten opponent in a baseball stadium was November 24th, 1904. And that was a Thanksgiving weekend game with Minnesota at Athletic Park in Cedar Rapids, up the road in Cedar Rapids. And I thought to myself, only Bob Brooks, the late great Bob Brooks, would know where Athletic Park was, but I was wrong. I called our buddy Kevin Dolan this afternoon. He's a Cedar Rapids sports historian, worked for the Hawkeye Network for a few years, and I said, Kevin, where was Athletic Park in Cedar Rapids? And Kevin knew right away. It's near the old Roosevelt High School, Roosevelt Middle School, around B.D.E. Avenue. You cross the bridge on the west side of the Cedar River there. You just go past St. Patrick's Catholic Church, which is right on First Avenue, and along around 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th Street, take a right. And back in there is where the old Athletic Park was. And Iowa and Minnesota played there. I'd love to know the circumstances as to why they played at that particular location. Kevin also mentioned to me that Bob Brooks broadcast games at the old athletic field as well as Kingston Stadium and Veterans Memorial Park down through the years. So it's a great nugget of history about Iowa and Minnesota back in 1904, and not have the Hawkeyes faced a Big Ten foe until this weekend, Northwestern. You know, that series at Wrigley Field, or that game at Wrigley Field, got started as kind of an in-state rivalry between Northwestern and Illinois, and the Wildcats thought, you know what, we've got a great series going with Iowa. And how about the Hawkeyes? I know they considered Wisconsin as well, one of the border state rivalries. But it's the Hawkeyes this weekend, 2:30, 12:30 for the pregame show here on the Hawkeye Radio Network. All right, we're going to step out, take our first break. When we come back, we'll visit with Clarissa Chun, the Hawkeyes' exuberant, ready to go a women's wrestling coach as that program debuts. Before we take a break, I want to tell you how you can reach Coach Ferentz tonight with your questions, either through Twitter or on Facebook here on the Hawkeye Radio Network. Send your thoughts, your questions, your comments to Coach on Twitter at Gary Dolphin. That's at Gary Dolphin. Or on Facebook at facebook.com/Voice of the Hawkeyes. As always, we're televised live on our compatriot here, KCRG 9.2. Channel 9.2 KCRG out of Cedar Rapids. You can see us on the official Iowa Hawkeyes YouTube page as well. Hawk Talk with Kirk Ferentz continues in just a minute on Learfield.
At U.S. Cellular, we believe in having healthy relationships with our phones, so we can have better relationships with each other. Introducing Us Mode, a way to set your phone for less distraction and deeper connection. So dinner can sound less like this and more like this.
What'd you learn today?
The sauropod was the tallest dinosaur ever.
Oh my goodness.
Visit U.S. Cellular in-store or online, and we'll help set your phone to Us Mode, even if you're not a customer. U.S. Cellular, the 5G network built for us. See uscellular.com for details.
I'm Ingrid Lizarraga, breast surgeon at the University of Iowa Holden Comprehensive Cancer Center, the state's only NCI-designated cancer center. Here, we look beyond just the type of cancer you have to discover the molecular details of the disease. We have teams dedicated to each cancer type, with treatments and trials you won't find anywhere else in Iowa. Go to uihc.org/cancer.
Running a business is a lot of work. Luckily, I've got a great partner.
Oh, I think you...
I meant U.S. Bank.
I knew that.
U.S. Bank Business Essentials is a huge help to us.
Totally. Their comprehensive point-of-sale system does it all. Tracks inventory, manages schedules, customizes orders.
Plus, all the regular banking stuff.
If only it could make coffee.
Nah, that's your job.
From point of sale to quick loans, we have many ways to make your business boom. That's what U.S. Bank is for. U.S. Bank. We'll get there together. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
You might think Iowa grows corn, but the truth is, corn grows Iowa. While farmers work hard to grow the best crop, their Iowa corn checkoff investments are hard at work too. Opening local and global markets for corn and corn-fed products, educating drivers on unleaded 88 as the best fuel at the pump, finding new uses for corn, and sharing the farmer's story. Iowa corn farmers are backed by researchers, educators, market experts, and more. To keep corn growing Iowa.
Bananas are only 39 cents a pound at Hy-Vee. That's not a sale price. That's the price with the Hy-Vee Perks membership. And 39 cents a pound is not just the price today or this week. It's the Perks price every day. With the Hy-Vee Perks membership, you can save on hundreds of products store-wide every time you shop. And count on Perks prices to stay the same. So if you want to pay less for bananas every day, sign up for Hy-Vee Perks. It's free and easy. Some restrictions apply.
Let's be honest, we all like to be noticed. Picture yourself striding into Kinnick Stadium, radiating both style and comfort, while fellow Hawkeye fans can't help but ask, where'd you get that shirt? With pride, you point to the big screen and reply, it's Authentic Brand. Discover the remarkable difference that apparel with the Authentic Brand label brings. Ask for it by name at your favorite boutique, spirit shop, or retailer, or shop online at authentic-brand.com. It's time for a change in your style. It's time for Authentic Brand. Hey, welcome back, everybody, to View Rooftop. Hawk fans jamming their way in here. It's great to see, great to be back, first off, after a week off with the bye week. Coach Ferentz will be here shortly. We're sponsored by Bud Light, a proud sponsor of Hawkeye Athletics. Easy to drink and easy to enjoy Bud Light. And by Pioneer. Pioneer is proud to partner with the Hawkeyes and the Nebraska Cornhuskers in the Pioneer Heroes game on November 24th, honoring local heroes who positively impact the community and stand as an inspiration to others. Pioneer proudly celebrating our local communities. Let's welcome Hawkeye women's wrestling coach Clarissa Chun to the microphone. Trailblazing Clarissa, I call her.
Thanks for having me.
You bet. Thanks for being here, Coach. Boy, I remember sitting down with you when you first arrived here from Hawaii a year and a half, almost 2 years ago now, and I knew time would fly to get to this day, but I didn't know it'd go this fast. Man, did it catch up to you, or you're still trying to embrace the moment?
I'm still trying to embrace the moment, honestly. Every day I feel like it's something new and different, and just feel like we're getting better each opportunity we get these experiences.
You just spent a week and a half in Albania at the under-23 World Championships. That had to be a thrill. Unfortunately, we didn't have any wrestlers there, but you've been involved with this for some time, USA Wrestling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, USA Wrestling has asked myself and another women's college program head coach to be a part of the volunteer coaching pool to coach Team USA at this age group. You know, this is the age group we work with from anywhere from U20 to U23, so it's a great opportunity for us to be out there on the world stage. We had 2 women on our program compete in it last year, unfortunately not this year, but we do have Kylie Welker currently at the Pan Am Games representing Team USA.
Oh, you found that out while you were in Albania, right? Kylie got a call.
Yeah.
Now, where are the Pan Am Games?
In Santiago, Chile.
Santiago, Chile. Wow, what a thrill. I mean, to learn culture and world history, it's got to be great for these young ladies.
Oh, absolutely. Great experiences for them to travel the world and compete. And the Games is like no other event, because it is at the Pan Am Games, it is like a mini Olympics. And for Kylie to be there, she competes on Friday. It's really just continues to fuel that fire for what's ahead, which is the Olympic year coming up in 2024.
Tremendous. Speaking of trailblazing, the Hawkeye women's inaugural Hawkeye women's wrestling schedule roster program kicks into action. We'll be throwing bodies all over the mat starting this weekend. You're at East Stroudsburg, and then the next day at the Princeton Open. So you're going to trip through Pennsylvania and New Jersey, and that's great wrestling country out there, as you well know.
Yeah, PA and Jersey strong in the men, and women out there for wrestling. And East Stroudsburg is pre-ranked 7th in the country coming in. So, and we're sitting at tied for 8th. So this will be a good see where we're at, as far as in the first dual meet. And really excited for the team to compete. We've, like you said, it's been over a year and a half, and our women are ready to go. And with Princeton, Princeton Open, there'll be a lot of colleges from all over the country. It's an open tournament, so there'll be women from Columbia University, all over the East Coast. It's an opportunity to hit the East Coast, which is rich with wrestling history and wrestlers out there.
Sure is. Speaking of wrestling history, this weekend will mark Iowa's the first Division I Power 5 university to support and to create women's wrestling, and that you should be so proud of that. 2 more states have sanctioned girls wrestling and added official state championships, including the state of Iowa, since all this came out a couple years ago. You must be so proud. Tell us about your ladder. Tell us about your roster. I know you've been recruiting nonstop for almost 2 years.
Yeah.
How do you feel now that the big day has arrived?
Feel great. We have a great team. We have strong, I would say, we have a young team. A lot of them are freshmen. A lot of them are redshirt freshmen. But we do have a handful of transfers with great experience at the collegiate level. And I'll say a lot of our redshirt freshmen have a lot of experience on the international level too. So really excited. I could go down the lineup, but I don't know if that's what you want me to do.
Well, we're limited on time, of course, as we always are. But let's talk about Felicity Taylor. She's from Spillville. She spent the past 4 years at McKendree University in Illinois, where she helped the Bearcats win 3 national championships. Now, is that Division II? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, Division
II wrestling. And then I interviewed Ellie Schmidt this past week. In fact, Ellie Schmidt is on the Fight for Iowa podcast as my guest this week. You can catch that at HawkeyeSports.com or any of your favorite university platforms. But these young women are fired up and they're ready to go. Let's hone it down to you're coming out of the gate, not quite sure what to expect, particularly at this level. Who are you counting on for leadership and direction?
I'll say Felicity Taylor. She's been a part of a program that has won national titles, and she's national collegiate national champion or collegiate national champion herself, and has competed on the U23 world team. So she comes with a lot of experience in that way. So leaning on her a lot for that leadership, and then really we tell our student athletes everyone's a leader in their own right. And
good point.
They all step up in different ways, and really lifting each other up and pushing each other forward. And that's
Ella Schmidt is from Bettendorf, which is a great high school wrestling program down through the years. And I was talking with her. She is a Pan Am. Talking about the Pan Am Games, she was a U20 Pan Am champion.
Yes.
So she's got some skill too.
Oh, yeah. And, she has, she came through wrestling and fought for Iowa girls wrestling to get sanctioned as a high school sport since she all through her high school years, at Bettendorf. So she's a leader in that way, and advocating for women and girls to be able to do the things they want to do and wrestle other girls and get opportunities like coming to Iowa.
You got a lucky 13 on your roster, including 4 transfers and 9 freshmen. That's a nice mix. And I want to get a plug in here for the upcoming first home meet that you're hosting at Carver on November 12th, if memory serves me correct. It's the Riverside Casino and Golf Resort. Presenting sponsor of the Iowa women's wrestling season. It's called the Trailblazer Open. You have 4 schools counting Iowa?
Yeah, yes, 4. So it's Trailblazer duels. It's all D1 teams. The only 4 D1 programs out there across the country, and it'll be Presbyterian University. They're the first that started a women's program, and then Sacred Hearts and Lindenwood and us. So.
And I'm looking, Sacred Heart's ranked 5th. Iowa, as you mentioned, ranked 8th. Lindenwood is 11th. Presbyterian 13th. So you got 4 of the top 15 ranked programs in the country coming to Carver, courtesy of Riverside Casino and Golf. They're great supporters of the Hawks. Clarissa, are you a little nervous, or equal parts nervous and excitement?
Yeah, nerves just tells me that I care.
Yeah, sure does.
Care about what's about to happen, and I'm excited. Like, I feel they're 2 of the same things, right? The excitement gets me propelling, like, let's go, and
that's the champion coming out of you, because you've been on that mat.
Yeah.
You know exactly what it's all about, and you were a great competitor as well. And I'm guessing you're a little excited about that, the Goshki, the new wrestling facility that is coming up in 2024.
Oh my! And I say it over and over again. Super grateful for the brands, the coaches, the men's coaches. Like, they're the ones that put in all the work, and we come in and walk into a gold mine. Really, it's going to be a beautiful facility.
You're going to mine some gold in that facility, right? As you branch out. Great to see you again. Thanks so much. It's always fun talking to you, and we'll look forward to being in the seats on November 12th at Carver to watch the Hawkeyes and those 3 other great programs. Thanks so much for being here, Coach Chun.
Thank you.
Great to see you.
Thanks for having me.
Coach Clarissa Chun, Hawkeye Women's Wrestling, our guest here on the Hawk Talk program with Iowa football coach Kirk Ferentz. Kirk will be joining us shortly. We're brought to you by our friends at Hudson's Southside Tap, your Hawkeye Game Day headquarters, savoring $6 house Bloody Marys. Catch the Hawkeye Radio Network post-game show right after home games with our crew out at Hudson's Southside Tap. Feel the Hawkeye spirit at Hudson's, just off Highway 1 West here in Iowa City. Go Hawks, and go to Hudson's Tap after each and every Hawkeye game, home and away, and join the gang at Hudson's. We appreciate their support of the Hawks and the Hawkeye Radio Network. All right, back with more. I'll tell you what, let's pause before we take a break. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. We're at View Rooftop in the Hilton Garden Inn. 10-second ID break on the Hawkeye Radio Network. You're listening to Hawk Talk with Kirk Ferentz. It's Hawkeye Football Talk from here on out till 8 o'clock tonight. You can reach us on Twitter at Gary Dolphin or on Facebook at facebook.com/voice of the Hawkeyes. We'll go to some of your thoughts as Coach arrives here shortly in just a minute. This is Hawk Talk with Coach Ferentz from Learfield.
Contractors, you're busier than ever this fall, but you've got this with high-quality building materials from Spahn & Rose, like GAF. Use the Spahn & Rose Visualizer to plan the perfect roof and blend an elegant architectural look with exceptional performance. GAF, we protect what matters the most. With several Spahn & Rose locations nearby, you can focus on life's other important things this fall. Spahn & Rose, buy easier, build better.
Can you think of anything that costs the same today as it did 10 years ago? There isn't much. That is, unless you're a Mid-American Energy customer. Thanks to all the renewable energy we're generating, our customers pay nearly the same rate for electricity today as they did back when we were all singing, "Call Me Maybe." And with Mid-American making even more investments in clean energy, you can count on enjoying those same affordable rates for the next decade. Now that's obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
If you've got the right tools and the friendly people at U.S. Bank in your corner, making smarter money choices is a piece of cake. If only our tools and helpful advisors could have helped you avoid some of those not-so-smart choices in life. Like that time you tried to pick up unicycling.
Whoa, coming through!
Or when you thought it'd be okay to pet that squirrel in the park.
Good squirrel, good squirrel.
While we can't help you with all that, we can help you bank smartly at usbank.com/smarter together. Member FDIC.
Which schools will take home the prestigious Learfield Directors Cup for the 2023-24 college athletic season? You can follow the standings of your favorite school or alma mater at L Directors Cup on Twitter and online at thedirectorscup.com. That's thedirectorscup.com and L Directors Cup on Twitter. Trophies will be awarded in June 2024 to the winning institutions in all competitive divisions. Learfield Directors Cup, the crowning achievement in college athletics.
Hello, Hawkeye fans. This is Bruce Gerleman, and I own Jethro's Barbecue. Have you heard the news? It's really big news. Jethro's Barbecue is now open in Coralville. That's right, across from the Hawkeye softball diamonds on the Coralville Strip. Jethro's is your game day headquarters. Call ahead and order your tailgate barbecue from Jethro's. Before the game, during the game, after the game, stop in Jethro's and eat my amazing slow-smoked wings and my world-famous baby back ribs.
Bump's Restaurant in the Finkbine Golf Course Clubhouse is the place to go before Hawkeye football games. For just $35 per person, you can have an all-you-can-eat buffet that includes barbecue, upscale tailgate favorites, a carving station, and all the fixins in the friendly comfort of the modern clubhouse. A full bar, Bloody Marys, mimosas, and over 35 beers are available. Reservations made on Friday before 11 a.m. include free game day parking for one vehicle. Kinnick Stadium is a leisurely walk down Melrose Avenue, so make game day easy by parking and eating at Bump's. For reservations, call 319-335-9662.
Hawkeye football Saturday at Northwestern. Join us at 12:30 for the pregame show here on the Hawkeye Radio Network with Ed Podolak, yours truly, and with Rob Brooks. Rob will be on the sideline at Wrigley Field. What a thrill that's going to be to I've been to Wrigley Field like all of you many times down through the years for baseball, bus trip after bus trip, and it's a quaint village. You get so many great spots in and around Wrigley Field. It's in a lot of ways it compares to Kinnick Stadium, not with the commercial properties and the bars and restaurants across the street, but in a somewhat of a residential neighborhood at Clark and Addison, and it really is a unique experience. Football, the Bears, for years, played at Wrigley Field back in the George Halas days. Gale Sayers and Dick Butkus back in the 50s and 60s. And the Bears moved over to Soldier Field, or down the Lakeshore Drive to Soldier Field in 1970. So it has hosted a lot of football games down through the years, and a few Northwestern Illinois games here of recent ilk. First time the Hawkeyes, and it's just going to be raucous because not only all of you in the listening audience who are headed over there with tickets, but Chicago has a phenomenal Big Ten alumni base. The last time I had checked, this has been years ago, there were like 600,000 Big Ten alums that work or live in Chicago, and that at the time I think there were 12 schools in the Big Ten, and now there are whatever the number is, 14, and that, of course, that's going up significantly here in the next couple of years. So it'll be not only Iowa alums who live in Chicago, but anybody that has Big Ten blood flowing through its veins, they'll be pulling for either Iowa or Northwestern. So it should be a great atmosphere indeed. Coach Ferentz will be here with us shortly. We'll get his club car wash keys to a Hawkeye victory on Saturday at Northwestern. Again, 12:30 for the pregame show and 2:30 for the kickoff. Northwestern comes off an impressive 33-27 win over the Maryland Terrapins on Saturday. That was at Welsh Ryan Field in Northwestern. And the Wildcats, they've got a kind of a two-headed monster at running back. Their main cog coming in is Cam Porter. He's a senior from Cincinnati. and LaSalle High School. He's rushed for just under 400 yards, about a 4-yard average with a couple touchdowns. But Joseph Hyman broke out of the pack Saturday, had a big day running the football, a couple hundred yards for Northwestern against Maryland. The Terrapins had no answer for the dominion of 5'9", 185-pound sophomore from Little Rock, Arkansas, Joe Hyman. So he will be a focal point for the Iowa defense. They've got solid receivers, Cam Johnson. Cam Porter's a running back. Cam Johnson, a wide receiver. He's got 31 catches. He's been at Northwestern for a lot of years from Nashville. 6th-year guy. Bryce Kurtz, another senior, is a solid pass catcher. Those two have 61 catches between them. A.J. Henning was a featured wide out on Saturday. He's got 18 catches and a touchdown. And then they always have good, solid blocking tight ends at Northwestern. Duke Olgas is their number one guy. Charlie Mangieri, he's been there for a couple years, backs him up. He's a graduate graduate student, excuse me. And a quarterback, that's where they've had issues like the Hawkeyes. Their starting quarterback went down with an injury 3 weeks ago, and in steps Ben Bryant, by the way, was the starting quarterback. He had thrown for 6 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. In steps Brendan Sullivan in his stead, and the young man's done a great job. Transfer, junior, I should say, from Davison, Michigan. 6'3", 225. He's thrown for 5 touchdowns, been picked off twice, completing 64% of his passes. So Sullivan has really done a phenomenal job jumping in there for Ben Bryant. Ben Bryant came from Cincinnati, came from Luke Fickell's program this year when Fickell left for, of course, Wisconsin, and Ben was doing really well. Had thrown for almost 1,000 yards when he hurt a leg. And he hasn't played since, and Brendan Sullivan jumps in there, has done a terrific job. So the Northwestern offense has been spectacular on balance. The defense, not so much, although they played terrific. Maryland had a 1st and goal right on the goal line Saturday. And 3 cracks, couldn't get over the line, turned the ball over to the Wildcats, who went down and kicked a field goal. That's a 10-point swing. They don't get the touchdown. Northwestern goes down and adds 3 to its lead and goes up 10 and was able to hold on and win the game 33-27. They have a tremendous kicker, punter, and Hunter Renner. Seems like every week when we either host somebody or go on the road, the opponent has a great punter. Of course, we know about Torrey Taylor, who was named to a midseason All-America team or 2 here in the past week. We'll get Coach's thoughts on the Wildcats, his own personal view on Northwestern's defense as well as its offense. So they're 4-4. And to think, I mean, the coach, Dave Braun, who came in from North Dakota State, Pat Fitzgerald hired him as his defensive coordinator, his new defensive coordinator, and with all the with that program in such disarray in August, when Fitzy was let go, this was right at the beginning of fall camp. Fitzgerald was fired with cause, they say. Again, that still has to work its way through the court system. But Northwestern elevated Coach Braun to interim head coach, and they struggled at the start, held on to beat a Howard program, but again, they were suffering a lot of injuries. And here they are at 4-4. Gave Nebraska a heck of a game a couple weeks back, lost 17-9. Here they are 2-3 in the conference and 4-4 overall. So it'll be a heck of a game as this series has shown and proven here in the last 10-15 years. We're brought to you tonight from View Rooftop, Hawk Talk with Kirk Ferentz, by Authentic Brand. And we invite you to submit an interesting question each week via Twitter at Gary Dolphin or on Facebook at facebook.com/Voice of the Hawks for Coach Ferentz. And you could win an Authentic Brand Hawkeye merchandise package. That's right. Thanks to Authentic Brand for the Hawkeye merch pack. We'll pick a winner here at the end of the evening, at the end of the show, for asking what we consider to be, please bear with our judgment, what we consider to be a creative or a solid question. And we've got a number of candidates tonight that you'll hear from. If you're dressing up for game day, for Kinnick Stadium or perhaps Wrigley Field this weekend, you might want to bring an extra wrapping. If you've been there for baseball, you know how that wind blows coming off Lake Michigan. Although the weather looks decent for Saturday, certainly a lot warmer than it has been the early part of this week. But if you're dressing up for game day, now it's a breeze, all thanks to Authentic Brand. Get ready for game day by visiting authentic-brand.com. That's authentic-brand.com. And Hawk Talk with Kirk Ferentz is brought to you by our friends at Quick Star. You can drive your team to a win this season by filling up with unleaded 88 with quick rewards at any Quick Star location. Fuel up with 8 gallons or more of unleaded 88, and you'll be automatically entered for a chance to win great prize packs throughout the season. Quick Star, proud partner of Hawkeye football. If you missed Coach's press conference yesterday, he said that Deacon Hill is clearing away the number 1 quarterback again this week, and going forward, he made it sound. Deacon Hill, number 1. Joe Labus is medically cleared to play. He is the backup at number 2. LeSean Williams could go over 1,000 yards for his career this weekend. Young man from Chicago. He's 47 yards shy of reaching the 1,000-yard mark for his career. He has a team-leading and career-high 472 yards on 86 attempts. He's been a horse. Rushed for a career-high 174. Of course, at Wisconsin. Had an 82-yard touchdown run there. Caleb Johnson has returned from injury, and the Hawks need to get that running game going. Just 11 net yards last week, and that seems unconscionable where you're talking about Iowa football. But Minnesota, they had a good game plan like most defenses do with Iowa. They're going to take that runaway if they can and force you to throw the football. And, of course, with Deacon having some accuracy issues, and hopefully he's got that taken care of now with the last 2 weeks of work put in. Hopefully he has a big day at Wrigley Field. He's got the arm strength to throw it through the wind at Wrigley. Hopefully he's got the accuracy coming up this weekend. Minnesota had 7, 8, 9 guys in the box regularly in that game 2 weeks ago over at Kinnick Stadium, week and a half ago. And so 11 net yards. That even with 9 guys in the box, that seems impossible that Iowa could only rush for 11 yards. The Hawks had just under 130 yards of total offense, and they know it's got to change. We don't need to remind them of that, so hopefully it starts on the road this weekend. The better news is on defense. Linebacker Jay Higgins and Nick Jackson, they've combined for 166 tackles. They're clearing away the number 1 duo in terms of total tackles. In fact, it's the highest by a Power 5 tandem in the nation. Higgins leads the Big Ten. He ranks second nationally with 12.5 tackles per game. He's had games of 15-plus and 6 10-plus tackle games. Way to go. Nick Jackson has 2 10-plus tackle games and 22 for his career. Nick Jackson, of course, the transfer from the University of Virginia. So that defense will be called on again. Northwestern well-balanced when they get time. They can throw the football. They get enough capable receivers, and we know they can certainly run the ball. They've had so many quality tailbacks down through the years. As a proud sponsor of Hawkeye football, U.S. Cellular is built for Iowa and the Hawks. Built for great interceptions and better reception. Watching touchdowns instead of touch screens. And waving before streaming. After all, game day only comes once a week. U.S. Cellular, built for us. We'll step out, take a break. Coach Ferentz will be joining us shortly here at View Rooftop atop the Hilton Garden Inn. And we're here until 8 o'clock tonight. Come out and join us. Come out and join us next week. We're here for the next month or so every Wednesday night. This is Hawk Talk with Coach Ferentz from Learfield.
Hi, this is Hawkeye coach Kirk Ferentz. My players know that success is not a given. There will be challenges, but with hard work, there are no limits. For years, Iowa farmers have believed in that too. Farmers are the backbone of this country, and their dedication to bringing us food and energy has never been more important. That's why we're proud to wear the America Needs Farmers logo on our helmets. Join the Hawkeyes and the Iowa Farm Bureau as we celebrate America's farmers. To learn more about ANF and pick up some great ANF merchandise, visit americaneedsfarmers.org.
Whether you're building a backyard fence for your family's new best friend or firing up the excavator for your next commercial project, a free and simple call can save you from expensive fines and even save your life. Call 811 at least 2 days before you start your next project to have underground utility lines located and marked. At Mid-American Energy, your safety is our #1 priority. So, make it your priority to call 811 before you dig. Paid for by the customers of Mid-American Energy.
How do you become America's best-selling brand? Let's break it down. Innovative tech means smarter and safer driving. Intelligent all-wheel drive will keep you ready for anything. And built Ford tough trucks will always get the job done. Plus, come into your local Ford store today and get super low APR financing, big cash back, and great lease offers on Ford's full line of cars, trucks, and SUVs. That's Ford, and that's how you become America's best-selling brand. Sales claim based on calendar year sales.
When it comes to your health, you need the full picture. That means the right diagnosis and the right treatment right from the start. I'm Aaron Bose, pediatric neurologist with University of Iowa Healthcare. Here, we're working together every day to advance medicine so you can get the best care. With more research, more clinical trials, and more treatment options than anywhere else in the state, the University of Iowa Healthcare is changing medicine and changing lives. Learn more at uihc.org.
When the game goes into overtime. But the game goes into overtime. The choice to enjoy is easy. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Order Bud Light online today. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
You might think Iowa grows corn, but the truth is, corn grows Iowa. While farmers work hard to grow the best crop, their Iowa corn checkoff investments are hard at work too. Opening local and global markets for corn and corn-fed products, educating drivers on unleaded 88 as the best fuel at the pump, finding new uses for corn, and sharing the farmer's story. Iowa corn farmers are backed by researchers, educators, market experts, and more. To keep corn growing Iowa.
We're back at View Rooftop in downtown Iowa City at the Hilton Garden Inn. Let's welcome Coach Kirk Ferentz to the microphone. Coach has joined us after another blustery day. Well, not as bad as yesterday on the practice field, but you got to get them out in the environment. You got similar conditions, perhaps Saturday.
Yeah, it sounds like we're gonna have a nice day Saturday relative, to what you could get. So that's good news. But at some point, we're going to be out there in that type of weather, and happy to say it was a lot less windy today, which makes a huge difference. I think it was colder temperature-wise, but it felt much, much better. And it's good to get outdoors, get some fresh air. This is not an indoor sport typically.
Now, with the news this week, and I watched your press conference yesterday, and you clearly wanted to talk only about going forward after your press conference about the Iowa Northwestern game and those that remain in the regular season. But I'm going to, at the risk of losing my head, bear with me here, because when you're talking about practice, in the news about Brian, I want to know, in light of that news, what's not only the players' focus, but your staff, the coaches' focus in practice. Even though Brian's out there running the offense, I would think it would be somebody's got to be thinking about the distraction that this creates.
Yeah, a couple thoughts on that. I think first, I really want to compliment our players and our staff. Everybody's been working, and our focus has been on getting ready for this ball game. There wasn't much talk of that yesterday, and I don't, resent it, but it's a press conference to talk about Northwestern, so I almost feel disrespectful to them. But that's not the case from our end. I promise you, they've got our full attention. They're a good football team, very well coached. They've been through some bumps this year, and have really responded admirably. And that's a challenge for us as well. And that's one thing about a season. I tell our guys every August, at the end of camp, there's certain things that are really going to dictate how the year goes, and how we deal with and how we respond to injuries, whatever it may be. You never know what's going to be coming down the road. You never know when it's going to happen. But it's like real life. I mean, you get judged on how you respond to things. So just proud of the way everybody's handled things. And my challenge to the guys Monday morning was, we got to go straight ahead. That's nothing can get in the way of what we're trying to get accomplished right now. I think it's important for everybody to remember we're a 6-2 team. we still have an opportunity to be a 10-win team in the regular season. I think it's been done 10 times right now in history, and I do know football started in 1889. I only remember that because it was the centennial in 1889, my last year here. So, that would be a really significant thing, a historic accomplishment. And no matter how things go here right now, I'm really proud of our team. We got a good group of guys, and they're fun to be with every day.
You also were asked, Kirk, about your future. And I'm paraphrasing here, obviously, but I'm going from memory here, so I apologize. But your response was, I'm focused only on this next game, and I'm focused only on the next 4 games, the 4 games that remain in the season. Yep. So I talked to a lot of people yesterday and today, and that felt that you left a crack in the door about will you or will you not be back next year. So can you please clear that up?
Yeah, sure, I'd be happy to. I mean, first of all, I was not trying to intentionally cause celebration for some people that would love to see me go, start a stamp collection or go bird watching, whatever, or don't mean to throw caution to anybody who might think we're doing a good job. So that was not the intent. The intent was to try to steer this thing back to what is important right now. But I enjoy coaching. Fortunately, I feel really good. The doctors tell me I'm okay. I hope they're right. And I hope to keep doing this for quite a while. And I've always loved being here. I've been here 34 years now. So. All I got to tell you, when the wind's blowing like it was this morning or yesterday morning, that may give you a little second about things. But no, outside of that, I like what I do, and most of all, I like the young people we've had a chance to work with. And it was that way in 1981. It's the same now. It was the same last year. We, such quality people. So. And I'll share this. I mean, there's a lot of things I don't like about college football right now, and that really kind of came to a crescendo last December. But you deal with those things. That's part of any job. You have things you don't like doing. And as long as the good things far outweigh the bad things, NIL's not going away, the lack of a salary cap, the lack of a roster management, all the things that we don't have that we need in college football. And I can tell you this from experience. I'm not an expert on much, but I can tell you this. None of this stuff's going to get corrected overnight because it's the NCAA and it's college football. So it seems like we have a propensity to increase the problems before we try to decrease them. Doing a really good job of that right now. But, despite all that stuff, I like our players. I like going in our building. I like what I do. In a sick way, I like the highs and I like the lows. Everybody likes the highs, but the lows are tough on you. But that's what makes the highs good too, and that's I think what you're chasing your whole life. When you quit playing, you're chasing that, and that's probably why people are dumb enough to get into coaching or whatever it may be. And hopefully you're helping some younger people along the way too. And if you get a chance to do all that stuff, it's a pretty good deal. So. Yeah, until they tell me to sit down, I'll probably keep going.
I'll take that as a yes. You'll be back next year. That's
hopefully
great to hear.
Hopefully a couple of years, yeah.
Yeah, hopefully a decade yet.
And there's a one Mrs. Mary Ferentz I got to deal with if I do stay home, so that's probably not a great idea right now.
Well, the last thing I have on this subject matter, father-son, how's Brian doing?
I think he's doing great. I'm really proud of him. I think probably most people read his release. Mm-hmm. Which I thought was really well stated and well said. And most importantly, he's living the words that he said. And I think all of our coaches do a great job. And I'm not going to separate one from the other because I'm really proud of the guys I work with. Sure. They work hard. And they really are committed to the right things, the things that are right in college football. And there's still a lot of those. I mean, I'm not complaining about all the other crap, but there's a lot more good than bad. And that's the fun of this whole thing. And just like I mentioned, there's been a history, at least in my opinion, during my all but 9 years here since '81, that we just seem to have really good players. I'm just sitting here thinking about Andre Tippett over here and Brad Webb, a walk-on, who were different in a lot of ways, but they're so similar in so many other ways. And just those guys are seniors when I'm a 25-year-old assistant coming here from not knowing anything, and just how they treated me. And they're across the ball. Like they had no association other than they wanted a film of Hugh Green and Ricky Jackson. They were a little self-centered there, but to this day, I think we're great. We all get along really well. I don't want to say great friends, but I think we're pretty good friends. Saw Andre Tippett last New England. I was up in New England last November after Thanksgiving. attending a ball game, and that's a cool part. I mean, here's a guy from Newark, New Jersey that thinks this is the greatest thing in the world and the greatest place in the world, and that's an illustration of the impact being part of something special can be for someone. How many years is that? 40 years ago? 42 years. So anyway,
40 plus, yeah.
And he's having a great life, a professional life, raising a great family, and just that's what this process is about. And as one of the older guys in the profession, I just worry about us drifting from some of that stuff. And
sure,
and you see him and Brad end up being best friends, and those guys are our best friends for life. So that's a fun part about it. You can say the same thing about Greenway and Hodge.
Abdul Hodge, Chad Greenway.
Yeah, two opposite ends of the world play in the same position. And, so that's a cool part about it. And Chad's back here a couple weeks ago with his family, and he and his wife receiving a very nice award for community efforts and things like that.
Alumni award,
so,
yeah, terrific.
It goes well beyond the field. And
it does.
The last time we were on the field was extremely disappointing. But, the words of Robert Frost, life goes on. So here we go.
Hopefully,
and we still got 4 games. Yep.
You still are in first place. Last time
I think we are. Yep.
3-2. It's a log jam. We'll talk about that. Northwestern's just a game back. Well, Coach, I appreciate your candor and answering. That should close the door on a number of things tonight. And,
hopefully for the next. And here's a little piece of trivia. So how many more days till the end of the season?
How many more days till the end? Well,
it's like a trick question.
Yeah, it's unknown.
You could probably get a free beer on that if you go to a bar.
Unknown.
It is unknown. That's
it
true.
Is unknown.
Okay. Regular season.
Regular season. We've got 4 games. What is it? November 24th. Whenever that Nebraska game is.
Yeah. So
Black Friday.
Put it in different terms. Our guys are off tomorrow. They'll come in the building Friday, and 3 weeks from that day, it's over. So that's how quick it is. It's just it's going to happen fast.
That's 21 days, Coach.
Yeah, bye week was really at a great time, and just told our guys to buckle up, let's go.
You got a chance to heal up and get some guys back. That perhaps were doubtful.
Yeah, thank God we didn't have our bye week 2 or 3 because that really doesn't do a lot of good. I mean, you can make it work, but. This time of year, it's really important. We were really banged up coming out of the Minnesota game. We were banged up going into it. And really outside of TJ Hall, I think everybody, unless, somebody steps on a landmine on Friday, I think we got a chance to everybody out there Saturday. So
good.
It's encouraging.
We've got a number of questions about playing at Wrigley Field. You also had some thoughts on that yesterday at your press conference. We'll revisit that somewhat, an abbreviated version, after we take a break, and we'll get Coach's Club Car Wash keys to a win over the Northwestern Wildcats. We're sponsored tonight by the Iowa Corn Cy-Hawk Series. Iowa Corn promotes honest, hardworking values that are uniquely Iowan. Iowa's corn farmers salute all athletes for their hard work and determination to be the best both on and off the field. Just like top athletes, the Hawkeye State's farmers lead the nation in corn and ethanol production. Follow Iowa Corn on Facebook and learn how corn grows Iowa. Back to View Rooftop right after this brief pause to hear from our wonderful sponsors. This is Hawk Talk with Coach Ferentz from Learfield.
Hi, this is Hawkeye coach Kirk Ferentz. My players know that success is not a given. There will be challenges, but with hard work, there are no limits. For years, Iowa farmers have believed in that too. Farmers are the backbone of this country, and their dedication to bringing us food and energy has never been more important. That's why we're proud to wear the America Needs Farmers logo on our helmets. Join the Hawkeyes and the Iowa Farm Bureau as we celebrate America's farmers. To learn more about ANF and pick up some great ANF merchandise, visit americaneedsfarmers.org.
Bump's Restaurant in the Finkbine Golf Course Clubhouse is the place to go before Hawkeye football games. For just $35 per person, you can have an all-you-can-eat buffet that includes barbecue, upscale tailgate favorites, a carving station, and all the fixins in the friendly comfort of the modern clubhouse. A full bar, Bloody Marys, mimosas, and over 35 beers are available. Reservations made on Friday before 11 a.m. include free game day parking for one vehicle. Kinnick Stadium is a leisurely walk down Melrose Avenue, so make game day easy by parking and eating at Bump's. For reservations, call 319-335-9662.
Can you think of anything that costs the same today as it did 10 years ago? There isn't much. That is, unless you're a Mid-American Energy customer. Thanks to all the renewable energy we're generating, our customers pay nearly the same rate for electricity today as they did back when we were all singing, "Call Me Maybe." And with Mid-American making even more investments in clean energy, you can count on enjoying those same affordable rates for the next decade. Now that's obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Running a business is a lot of work. Luckily, I've got a great partner.
Oh, I think you...
I meant U.S. Bank.
I knew that.
U.S. Bank Business Essentials is a huge help to us.
Totally. Their comprehensive point-of-sale system does it all. Tracks inventory, manages schedules, customizes orders.
Plus all the regular banking stuff.
If only it could make coffee.
Nah, that's your job.
From point of sale to quick loans, we have many ways to make your business boom. That's what U.S. Bank is for. U.S. Bank. We'll get there together. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
When the game goes into overtime. But the game goes into overtime. The choice to enjoy is easy. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Order Bud Light online today. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
I'm Ingrid Lizarraga, breast surgeon at the University of Iowa Holden Comprehensive Cancer Center, the state's only NCI-designated cancer center. Here, we look beyond just the type of cancer you have to discover the molecular details of the disease. We have teams dedicated to each cancer type, with treatments and trials you won't find anywhere else in Iowa. Go to uihc.org/cancer.
All right, back on Hawk Talk with Iowa football coach Kirk Ferentz. We're here each and every Wednesday night. Thanks to the folks at View Rooftop. Here we are, Coach, 2/3 of the way through the season. It's hard to believe. You mentioned the 3 weeks from Friday, the regular season ends, and hopefully the Hawks are in the Big Ten championship game. But you say you only get 12 opportunities a year. I know you preach that to your players, and those 12 opportunities come and go in a hurry.
They all count first of all, and then secondly, to your point, the first month is especially the first two weeks takes forever. It seems like the first game. You're not certain it's ever going to come, and then once you get rolling, it just it goes really quickly. And November especially, I think. Excuse me.
Sure, you bet.
November especially is
that time of the year for the hack too.
It is. Yeah, it's been about 3 weeks now. So I'm leading Reese Morgan in that category. So I don't know if that's something to be proud of or not, but yeah, and that's the fun of it, though. I mean, there's something you look forward to. You're in conference play, and anybody that's in a conference, participating in a conference, and then been with an independent, it's night and day difference. There's just something about conference football that's it's a huge challenge. So that stuff's all good, and one thing for sure, we're going to see a lot of things probably we didn't predict here in the next month.
Coach, before we get your club car wash keys to the game, let me go to Facebook.com/Voice of the Hawkeyes. Mick would like to know any news on the status of Noah Shannon. I think we last talked about Noah 3 weeks ago. You hope by November you'd have an answer, but crickets yet?
Total crickets, and I didn't lose interest, but I lost track of when that meeting that got pushed back. I forget when they scheduled that.
Couple more weeks.
Yeah, so it's like, he's not getting any younger, and the season's not slowing down, and it's just disappointing that it seems like it'd be appropriate. Somebody maybe would call and just say, "Here's what's going on. Here's why it got delayed." All that stuff, and my suggestion would be they should call the parent or the player involved. Because they're the ones who are left, really with and then we have a role being his coach and look at him. I don't know what to tell you because I don't know anything. I literally don't know anything, and it's a little frustrating. So it just. Hopefully this thing will be a little bit more timely as we move forward. But I don't want to say I'm not optimistic at this point, but it just makes you wonder about things and where we're going.
Feel bad for Noah for sure and his family indeed. All right, let's go to the club car wash keys to the game with Coach Ferentz, presented by the official car wash of the Iowa Hawkeyes. Club car wash with a limited membership starting at just $20 a month. There's no better time to join the club. Visit clubcarwash.com. and find a location nearest you. Well, big picture before we talk personnel is I was talking about Pat Fitzgerald and his situation at Northwestern and the great job really Coach Braun has done since being elevated to interim head coach. But you go back to when Fitzy's first year, I think it was 2007, played 15, 16 times, and 10 of those have been one-score games.
Yep.
And it's incredible how hard fought this series has been.
It's been a really good series, and I got a couple items on that. First of all, back in 1999, We lost over there. They scored, I believe, it was on an option to their right, offense's right. 2-point play, or I think it was a 2-point play, but doesn't matter. Anyway, they scored to win the game. And, that's 9 years after I was gone, and it was just a real vivid memory. And a lot had happened since then. So when I left here in the late 80s, they really were not very good, and Wisconsin was really not very good. And so it was interesting to get back here, and you're kind of locked in a little bit of that old perception of the 80s. And I remember after that game just how, the feeling I had, and I was like, okay, we better get a bigger boat, kind of like Jaws. So that was like a full reality, like, this is a serious program. And there's a reason they were Big Ten champs in the mid-'90s there. The transformation was just tremendous.
Really changed with Gary Barnett.
Gary was the coach, and Pat was a key player on that team, and just a lot of good players that were really determined, like Iowa in the 80s.
Yeah.
Determined they didn't want to lose. They were tired of losing, and those guys made it happen. And then it's interesting, if you think about it, Pat became a head coach there under very challenging circumstances with Coach Walker's passing. It, too, was in the summertime.
Sudden passing.
I think it's sudden passing. Yeah. I believe it was like right at the start of July. Mm-hmm. And here you take it. And Pat was a young guy at that point. So it just did a remarkable job and built a tremendous program. And now almost not the same circumstance totally, but, here comes Coach Braun, who coached up at North Dakota State. I think we all have tremendous respect for that program, know how good it is. Goes to Northwestern to become a Big Ten coordinator, and I'm sure was excited about that opportunity. Good staff, good program, and next thing you know, here you take it, you're the head coach. So that's a lot to digest in a short amount of time. And I remember we were in Indianapolis for the media days, and learned there that his wife was like expecting I don't know which number baby it was, but like any day, and I'm thinking, are you out of your mind? Why are you here? You better get home. And fortunately, I think that little baby girl came maybe 2 weeks later. But you talk about a lot going on at one time. Just I can't even imagine.
He's got a lot going on now, not unlike Iowa with the quarterback situation. Starter Ben Bryant, who got off to a really good start for Northwestern, got hurt. He hasn't played 3 weeks. And here comes this Irishman, Brendan Sullivan, who's really looked outstanding, and especially last Saturday against Maryland.
He really did. He was a big part of the game, the victory for him. And, they've done some really impressive things this year. You go back to the Minnesota game, they were down, scored 21 points in the fourth quarter to put it in overtime one. And then last week, I really think the key point in the game, they were getting ready, Maryland was getting ready to tie it. Northwestern had a 7-point lead. And Maryland had the ball second and goal on the one. Smacked it in there 3 times and got stopped all 3 times. And I'm sure Coach Loxley was thinking, okay, even if we get stopped, we'll get the ball back at midfield and go score, and things will be good. Then Northwestern took the ball, I think it was 70 yards, 77 yards to the far end, get a field goal. So instead of being a tie game, now they've got a 10-point lead. And so the combination of those two events, I think, says a lot about their football team, their resiliency, and the quarterback you mentioned. Sullivan's capable of making big plays. Made a lot of them in the Maryland game throwing the football, but also a lot on it with his feet. So he's a guy we're going to have to try to keep in the pocket, and we better cover some of those deep routes because they hit a couple against Maryland, which will really hurt them.
They've always got solid receivers, big tight ends, but you think about Northwestern, all the great tailbacks.
Yeah, they really have.
Back to the old I-back days, but Cam Porter's been listed as their number one. He's had a solid year, but this Joseph Hyman really broke out last week. Had some big, long chunk play gains that kept the clock going in Northwestern's favor.
They really have done a great job, and to your point about the running backs, it seems like that always seems to happen every season. Somebody emerges that you had a good one here, and then all of a sudden somebody else comes along and say, "Whoa, how'd that happen?" So anyway, but it's interesting.
Defensively, they've got the Big Ten Player of the Week, Aiden Hubbard, one of their rush ends. He had 5 tackles for loss. I'm going from memory here. 5 tackles for loss among his collection, and 3 sacks. Yep. That's a season's work for a lot of people.
It's pretty good, and the number 42 is up there too on the sack stuff. So, but those outside guys are good rushers. They're pretty mobile, and they'll go either way on you, inside or outside. So that's a little bit different, and they've been really productive. They play hard. I mean, their whole team plays hard, both sides of the ball, but the defense especially.
Well, you have to expect that, like Minnesota, they're gonna load the box, try and take LeSean and Caleb away from you and others, and got to hit some plays in the passing game.
Yeah, no question. That will help us. And I thought Deacons had a really good week this week. I think the bye was good for him. Maybe get him settled a little bit. And I think the wheels came off a little bit against Minnesota. He reverted a little bit, but I thought was making progress. And I think all of us have to keep in mind he hasn't played a lot of football. Yeah, and you can't give guys experience. They've got to earn that, work through it. He's doing a really good job practicing, a really good job preparing. And it's just, it's about experience, it's about reps, and then probably the most important ingredient there is learning from anything that didn't work the way you want it to. You got to learn from it and move forward, and if you do that, you got a chance to improve. But he's got a great attitude and works extremely hard, so hopefully we sorry about that.
Let's take a break.
Hopefully we see some good things.
Yeah, absolutely. On the lakefront at Wrigley Field. What better venue other than Kinnick Stadium, of course. We'll let Coach catch his breath, come back with more of your thoughts from Facebook and on Twitter here on Hawk Talk with Coach Ferentz from Learfield.
When it comes to your health, you need the full picture. That means the right diagnosis and the right treatment right from the start. I'm Aaron Bowes, pediatric neurologist with University of Iowa Healthcare. Here, we're working together every day to advance medicine so you can get the best care. With more research, more clinical trials, and more treatment options than anywhere else in the state, the University of Iowa Healthcare is changing medicine and changing lives. Learn more at uihc.org.
Contractors, you're busier than ever this fall, but you've got this with high-quality building materials from Spahn & Rose, like GAF. Use the Spahn & Rose Visualizer to plan the perfect roof and blend an elegant architectural look with exceptional performance. GAF, we protect what matters the most. With several Spahn & Rose locations nearby, you can focus on life's other important things this fall. Spahn & Rose, buy easier, build better.
When the game goes into overtime. But the game goes into overtime. The choice to enjoy is easy. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Order Bud Light online today. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
At U.S. Cellular, we believe in having healthy relationships with our phones, so we can have better relationships with each other. Introducing US Mode, a way to set your phone for less distraction and deeper connection. So dinner can sound less like this and more like this.
What'd you learn today? The sauropod was the tallest dinosaur ever.
Oh my goodness. Visit U.S. Cellular in-store or online, and we'll help set your phone to US Mode, even if you're not a customer. U.S. Cellular, the 5G network built for us. See uscellular.com for details.
Whether you're building a backyard fence for your family's new best friend or firing up the excavator for your next commercial project, a free and simple call can save you from expensive fines and even save your life. Call 811 at least 2 days before you start your next project to have underground utility lines located and marked. At Mid-American Energy, your safety is our #1 priority. So, make it your priority to call 811 before you dig. Paid for by the customers of Mid-American Energy.
Hey Hawkeyes, this is Coach Kirk Ferentz. We work hard all year to have the best season possible, just like Iowa's corn farmers do. Please support Iowa's corn farmers by purchasing corn-fed meat, dairy, and eggs. Drink safe water from the tap, and fuel your vehicle with homegrown unleaded 88. You might think Iowa just grows corn, but the truth is, corn grows Iowa. Go Hawks.
Hawk Talk from View Rooftop in downtown Iowa City at the Hilton Garden Inn. Reach us on Facebook at facebook.com/Voice of the Hawks and on Twitter at Gary Dolphin. Coach Ferentz is here. We're here till 8 o'clock tonight. We'll be back next week, hopefully talking about a win over Northwestern. Kirk, we got a note from Jordan. Hi, Coach. We're in the house here at View Rooftop tonight. Great. Good to have you here, Jordan, with 7-year-old Aiden. Would like to know who is the best/favorite tight end you've ever coached? I want to hear this answer.
Oh, boy.
You don't play favorites typically.
Yeah, I'm not sure I can answer that one. It's amazing how many good ones we've had. And a lot of the guys have gone on, had really good, NFL careers. And then you think about like Henry Krieger-Coble, who maybe didn't have the speed to be an NFL player, but I was talking to one of our young guys, Zach Ortworth, this morning. I'm not sure I ever saw Henry drop a ball, ever, in practice or in a game. He had the most unbelievable hands and concentration that I've probably seen of anybody coming through here. And so that's a little different category. Allen Reisner had a really good career.
He did.
Another guy, and played a little bit in the NFL. But it's amazing how well our guys are doing in the NFL. You got the most two notable probably are Kittle and Hawkinson. Sam Laporte is just playing out of his mind, and that's fun to watch that. Noah Fant's doing a great job. So it's really been kind of a neat thing to watch the guys come through. And one of the things I think is kind of interesting about it, they're all different stories, and really none of them outside of maybe Tony Malaki was ever highly recruited, but most of them turned out to be pretty good, and they've all been fun to work with. So it's a pretty good deal.
When you go back to Marv Cook and Mike Flagg and some of the great names that really helped revolutionize that position at Iowa to present day, I mean, you're going to miss somebody. I've often wondered, C.J. Fedorowicz. Yeah. As big as he was, if he'd have stayed healthy, he was always getting nicked.
Another guy?
Yeah, but...
you think about Flagg, Mike Hufford back in the early days, those guys were... Yeah. And speaking of never seeing a guy drop a ball, I never saw Mike Flagg drop a ball, too. He had a 4.4 grade point. He was on the president's list. And not a burner speed-wise, but, boy, what a good player. And so impactful. And then Marv was a high school quarterback who became a great tight end. And
sure did. Played a lot of years.
Also punted pretty well. Pro Bowl player in the NFL. So, it's been neat. And I think the one constant there is that, we've used tight ends. Not everybody does, but we really believed in them in the 80s, and we still do now.
Tight ends and fullbacks.
Yep.
Hawk Talk with Coach Ferentz is brought to you by Wellmark. The exciting moments, the proud moments, the hard moments. Wellmark Blue Cross Blue Shield is here for it all as your healthcare champion, making healthcare more affordable with more choices for care and peace of mind no matter what comes your way. Find the plan right for you at wellmark.com/touchdown. Coach, George would like to know what the challenges are in playing a football game in a baseball stadium such as Wrigley Field.
There's some really obvious ones, and there's some that aren't so obvious. The one that's not obvious is getting in and out of the locker room with 70 players. So I guess I'm glad we're not at home. We'd have 115 guys trying to get out of a single file. And as I understand it, you have to go up steps. The place is built for baseball, and
sure, I
don't think baseball teams go out at the same time. I think they're all on different schedules and all that stuff. But football's a little bit different. And then I know baseball well enough to say they don't have a halftime. We do, and those half times are timed. So again, just the logistics of getting guys in and out. It's going to be a little interesting. We'll keep our fingers crossed. I'm sure the field will look nice. How it plays, that's a whole different story. But the biggest factor is just both teams being on the same sideline, which, quite frankly, doesn't make a lot of sense. And just think about the challenges substitution-wise. So one team's on the 45 down to the 5, then flip side on the others. And I'm old enough to remember Bud Grant and the Vikings doing that at the old Met Stadium, Metropolitan Field or Stadium, whatever they called it. But I think it was black and white TV, probably still.
It was.
Yeah, so
early 60s.
But I thought that was kind of like done. And so we're going to get some experience. And probably the guy who's got the worst job of the entire day will be the referee, because substitutions, clock management, all those things, it's really not fair to expect a 310-pound lineman to get down to the 5-yard line to get on goal line defense from his own 50. It's just, it's going to be interesting. So I think both coaches, we've agreed that, let's just let the referee use his discretion. That's what referees do anyway. So hopefully we're not going to go strictly by the book, because that's a real challenge, a real problem potentially. And I think all of us agree that the best thing to do is just let the referee use common sense.
Yeah, hopefully there's a margin there for some leeway.
Yeah.
Thanks for the question, George. We're at View Rooftop on the 12th floor of the Hilton Garden Inn.
Calling timeouts, too, if the ball's at the far end. That could be a little tricky, too. Or
for him to see it.
Yeah,
you'd have a long way to run.
Yeah. I don't run so well anymore either,
Well,
so it's like, that's
you
not
got
good.
that little hitch, that little gait you got going there at the elbows up there. That's all right. You're still fast enough. Thanks to the Hilton Garden Inn and the View Rooftop for hosting us each week for Hawk Talk with Coach Ferentz, featuring a distinctly modern escape filled with a unique outdoor design. Open all day on Hawkeye football game days with tailgate specials. View Rooftop provides a high-energy, memorable experience with food, music, and fantastic views of the Iowa City skyline. Call 319-519-4650. 519-4650 to set up your View Rooftop reservation today. They also have a double-figure selection of high-definition televisions, and they've got the World Series on right now. 0-0, Texas, Arizona, on our U.S. Bank scoreboard. Bottom of the third inning, no score, Texas and Arizona. Texas, I mean, these are two teams that can hit the ball out of the park in the blink of an eye, and Texas has been doing all that. All right, back with our remaining moments with Coach Ferentz on Hawk Talk right after this pause on Learfield.
At U.S. Cellular, we believe in having healthy relationships with our phones, so we can have better relationships with each other. Introducing Us Mode, a way to set your phone for less distraction and deeper connection. So dinner can sound less like this and more like this.
What'd you learn today?
The sauropod was the tallest dinosaur ever.
Oh my goodness.
Visit U.S. Cellular in-store or online, and we'll help set your phone to Us Mode, even if you're not a customer. U.S. Cellular, the 5G network built for us. See uscellular.com for details.
When the game goes into overtime. But the game goes into overtime. The choice to enjoy is easy. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Order Bud Light online today. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Can you think of anything that costs the same today as it did 10 years ago? There isn't much. That is, unless you're a Mid-American Energy customer. Thanks to all the renewable energy we're generating, our customers pay nearly the same rate for electricity today as they did back when we were all singing, "Call Me Maybe." And with Mid-American making even more investments in clean energy, you can count on enjoying those same affordable rates for the next decade. Now that's obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Bump's Restaurant in the Finkbine Golf Course Clubhouse is the place to go before Hawkeye football games. For just $35 per person, you can have an all-you-can-eat buffet that includes barbecue, upscale tailgate favorites, a carving station, and all the fixins in the friendly comfort of the modern clubhouse. A full bar, Bloody Marys, mimosas, and over 35 beers are available. Reservations made on Friday before 11 a.m. include free game day parking for one vehicle. Kinnick Stadium is a leisurely walk down Melrose Avenue, so make game day easy by parking and eating at Bump's. For reservations, call 319-335-9662.
Does your company attire make you feel like you're always fourth and long? It's time for a change. Hand the ball off to Authentic Brand and watch your team transform into MVPs. On game days, our team dresses like champions in Authentic Brand. Ensure that your company's reputation remains untarnished by using nothing but the label specifically designed to display your company's identity. Ask your supplier for Authentic Brand products and see for yourself why it's more than just a label. It's a statement.
Back with our remaining moments with Coach Ferentz on Hawk Talk from View Rooftop. Time to pick our Authentic Brand Hawk Talk show most unique or interesting question or comment tonight. And Kirk, we're going to give it to Jeff. I never really thought about this. Coach Ferentz, are you able to have any Illinois high school recruits on the Iowa sideline in historic Wrigley Field on Saturday, or is that available only for the home team, in this case Northwestern?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, we can't do any recruiting away from Kinnick, so that's that. And then to take a further step, the recruits are down there pregame. Once the game gets going, they need to be in the seats, and that's for obvious reasons. It's just beyond the end.
And I think Jeff's point was, can they be in the end zone filtering around, but not on the road at all?
Yep, exactly.
Okay. Well, there you go, Jeff. But you do win a nice merchandise pack from Authentic Brand. By the way, you can upgrade game day with Hawkeye Village. Get game tickets, pregame extravaganza, all you can eat drinks, and more. Perfect for groups or families. Limited availability at Hawkeye Village. How about for Rutgers next Saturday, a week from Saturday? To get your tickets, visit HawkeyeSports.com and click on the Hawkeye Village link. Join the Hawkeye excitement game day at Hawkeye Village. Let's go back to Twitter. Mike says, Coach, your 2 best wins this year were on the road in Ames and Madison. Can you pinpoint this success to several factors or one?
It's tougher to play on the road. I feel like it is. I always felt like it is. So that part's a challenge. And both of those stadiums are, tough places to play, typically. It's been that way historically. But the one benefit of it is you really kind of, sometimes when you're at home, players have visitors or whatever it may be, and maybe a little more distracted. In this case, one thing about road games, once you get on the bus, and we'll drive in there around noon on Friday, once you're there, you're just kind of locked in, and it's, I think in some ways unique, and I think there's something about the challenge of going in, whether it's, 50,000, 70,000, 80,000 fans, and it's you, your team, and basically against all those people. So, it's sometimes can be a galvanizing thing, and
sure,
it's just it's what you make of it. Take the attitude. Let's go do it the right way, and get the win and go out the front door.
Well, you're sequestered, you're isolated, you're together, you're brothers. You get after it. Appreciate the question. I was just talking to Kirk during our last break about Bob Knight dying a few hours ago. Legendary coach Bobby Knight at age 83 had some health issues that have lingered for a couple years. So we remember the great Bob Knight this evening. He was the face of Big Ten basketball for a lot of years. Classic battles between he and Lute Olson and Dr. Tom Davis. And also got word today, Coach, that Nora Lee Ballman, age 95, the Ballman family have owned Plumber's Supply here in Iowa City since 1951. Great Hawks supporters, season ticket holders for football, basketball, wrestling, and they developed a great relationship with Forrest Evashevsky back in the 50s. So our sympathies to the Ballman family.
Yeah, it's a long life for sure. And, just started learning that news.
Indeed. Travel Leaders Destinations Unlimited, Iowa's official bowl tour, is proud to announce that the Hawkeyes are officially bowl eligible. They'll be heading somewhere. Why not travel with the Hawks? Travel Leaders Destinations Unlimited is Iowa's leader for game tickets, air travel, and hotel. Sign up to automatically receive official bowl travel information when it happens at HawkeyeSports.com/Bowl Central. That's HawkeyeSports.com/Bowl Central. Let's see. Lori has a nice comment, Coach. No question. I don't have a question. Just want to tell you how much I admire you and how you prepare young men for life outside of football. That's nice.
Appreciate that, Lori. And we've had a lot of tremendous young people come through here, and one commonality, typically it starts at home. So, we try to help move guys along and help them get ready for adult life. But my experience is that most of it, the foundation's built at home, and we just try to there's a responsibility that comes with that, so we try to make sure we do the best that we possibly can.
We've got about 30 seconds left, Coach. I want to get this one in. TJ on Twitter. Coach, on a recruiting visit, has a player you weren't necessarily there to see or hotly interested in jumped out at you with that visit and led to an offer?
Yeah, you never know. Yeah. The answer is yes. You just never know. And the other thing I just tie in with that, sometimes guys really change. Like, you think this guy's okay. And then you see them, 4 months later, and they really change. And that's one of the fears about the early commitment stuff is players change, and they improve. And I saw a young guy last Friday. One guy's committed to us as a scholarship player. The other guy's committed as a walk-on. And I got to tell you, he's faster than I thought. And it was really fun to see him in live. Like, boy, this guy's good.
It's a great nature of recruiting, isn't it?
You never know.
At this level. That's
you
right.
never know.
Thanks, Kirk. We'll see you Saturday at Wrigley.
Look forward to it. Thank you.
Coach Ferentz. I'm Gary Dolphin. Thank you to View Rooftop. We'll be back here next Wednesday night with another edition of Hawk Talk. Good night, everybody.
On the Hawkeye Sports Network from Learfield, live from View Rooftop at the Hilton Garden Inn in downtown Iowa City. Hawk Talk has been brought to you by Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Your local Ford dealers, Iowa's corn farmers of the Iowa Corn Growers Association and Iowa Corn Promotion Board. You may think Iowa grows corn, but the truth is corn grows Iowa. U.S. Bank, proud to support Iowa football. U.S. Bank, equal housing lender, member FDIC. Also brought to you by Mid-American Energy. Look up, look out for overhead power lines. Visit midamericanenergy.com for electrical safety tips. By University of Iowa Healthcare. Changing medicine, changing lives. U.S. Cellular, built for the Hawkeyes. Built for silencing notifications and turning up the noise. U.S. Cellular, built for us. Iowa Farm Bureau, who would like to remind you to support America's farmers. Check out AmericaNeedsFarmers.org. And by Authentic Brand. The label you wear makes a difference. Step up your game day looks and everyday style with Authentic Brand. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Hawkeye Sports Network.